Hello and welcome to today's video. Recently I had a request to make some regular animals. I make a lot of monsters or animals that are, have become monsters. In my Let's Make a Monster live stream for Easter, I did a monster bunny rabbit, and I think that's when it came up. They asked if I can, even do like people's pets, things like that. And I have done stuff like that in the past, but I haven't really done much like that recently. So when I made Clover, even a few weeks back, she was definitely very pig inspired. So I thought it'd be cute to start my line of animals with a cute little pig sculpture out of polymer clay. So in today's video, I'm going to sculpt a cute little pig out of Premo Sculpey. All right, let's get started. So I saved a few reference pictures here on my iPad, and I'm just going to have that off to the side there so I can use that when I'm sculpting my little piggy. I kind of want a mix of cartoony and realistic. So I'm starting off with some Premo blush, and I'm mixing in some pearl to give it a little bit of a shimmer to it and lighten it up just a little bit. And then I'm going to take some foil here and sculpt that into a couple of different shapes, one for the body and one for the head. So I'm going to start with the body, and I'm just going to cover it with a layer of the Premo Sculpey. And once I get that covered, I'm going to go ahead and tear off some of the clay for the back legs. Now I'm trying to get my, you want your legs about the same size, so I want to keep my little sections of clay around the same size that I'm tearing off there. Then I'm sculpting out the back legs, make sure they kind of match up, and then I'm attaching them to the body. I want my little piggy sitting. I find it easier, and it's, it's a cute look to do that, but it's also, more stable to do it that way. Now for the front legs, I'm having them just reach out in front there. So he's kind of supporting himself as he's, sitting back on his little behind. So I don't have these going all the way down to the desk because I'm going to add some little hooves. So I don't think that's very noticeable from this angle, but I do have a gap there so I can add some hooves and have those flush with the desk. So I added a little wire to the neck area so I can attach the head. That'll also open up the clay so there's a place for that air to escape, that would be trapped in there when I put the head on. Now I went ahead and made some eye sockets, adding some black glass beads for the eyes, and then I just want to build up the clay around that. Now these glass beads do have a hole in them that goes from one end to the other because they're used for like jewelry. So I want to make sure that hole is not visible and all you see is the glass beads. So I had to add a little more clay around the pig's right eye, just underneath there to cover that up. So now I'm just getting the head placed on the body, and I do want the pig to be tilted a little bit. I've done some other characters like that, and I think that's a cute look. A friend of mine just made a little robot, kind of inspired from my Let's Make a Robot live stream, and her robot had a tilted head, and I just thought it would be cute to add that to this little piggy. I think it just makes them look a little more curious, adds a little more like emotion to the character. So now I'm just adding the little piggy's nose. So I just rolled up some clay for that, and I want to build up his little cheeks, give him some chubby cheeks. And so I've got that attached to the face, and now I'm just taking my ball tool and smoothing that in so it's all one piece. Now, I was having a hard time working with the head on the body, so I went ahead and pulled that off. But I've got that opening in the back there, so it should slide back on without having to worry about distorting anything. So I also added a little bit more clay underneath the nose to build up a mouth area. And then I'm taking this silicone tipped tool to smoothen my clay a little bit more. I use a lot of different tools to smoothen the clay, just depending on what seems to be working the best at that time. So I'll just smooth it out with my fingers a little bit more. And now I'm going to go ahead and do the little nostrils for the nose. And I'm just using a ball tool, moving that around. And then I'm going to use a needle tool to give him a nice smiley face, or smiley mouth. It's going to be a happy, cute little piggy. Now I'll go ahead and reattach the head, keep it kind of tilted, give him this, smooth everything in. Now I'm going to make his little ears. So I ended up going online and looking at even more pictures of pigs, and I noticed their ears are kind of inconsistent on what I've seen, even on real pigs. So I'm just going with a triangular shape, and again, I'm using about, 2 pieces of clay about the same size, or at least that's what I'm trying to do. And then I'm just using my silicone tip tool to add the indention there. I was having some issues with my, ears not looking about the same size, so I'm trying to trim them down and adjust them and get them about the same size. And also, I want that smooth end there, so when I attach to the head, it all meets up, so there's no gaps there. I'm just getting them arranged, make sure it's got the look I want. I want them to look all cute. And just get it smoothed in. Now the last thing I want to do for the little piggy before I switch colors is make him a little tail. So I just rolled out a snake of the pink blush pearl mixture and then twisted it and gave him a little cute twisty tail. Now I'm done with the pink, so I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands, make sure I get all the pink off my hands, and then I'm going to use the black clay for the hooves. So I've just grabbed a little bit, and this is just Premo Black, and I'm rolling it into like a cylinder. I'm cutting it in half, and then I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and cut like a slit about halfway through and separate that a little bit to give it that little hoof look for it. And I'm going to do the same thing with the front feet. This one will be a little bit smaller, like smaller diameter for the cylinder, but it's the same technique. Cut in half, cut a slit about halfway in, and then just push those into place. All right, now that's all I need to do with the black clay. So my sculpting's done with this little piggy. I'm just going to touch up. I want to add some indentions around the eyes, make it a little more expressive. Now I want to go ahead and give it a little bit of a texture. So pigs have like a little bit of a fur, not fur, but like they're not smooth. They look, especially baby pigs, they have hair on them. And so I just wanted to add some texture with the toothbrush, and I just gave it enough to give it a nice, interesting look to it. So once I finish up with the texture, it's time to go ahead and bake this guy according to package instructions. And here is the finished cute little piggy made out of polymer clay. Bring him in close. You can see that texture. Look at that cute little tail. A close-up of his hooves. And those are pretty easy to do, but you can see I'm really happy how they turned out. And his face, his little smile. And those glass beads work really well for the eyes because it gives that natural shine to them. And I didn't gloss this guy, but he still has a shine to him because of that pearl clay that's mixed in there. So I think that works well if you want something to be a little bit shiny, but not just completely covered in gloss. Set him down, give you a let the camera zoom or focus on him. Give you a 360 view of the little guy. And if you have ideas for other little animals you want me to make, please leave them in the comments down below. I do read all those. I try to reply to all of them. And I get a lot of my ideas from videos, from the comment section or from comments on my live streams. So I do take those very seriously. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know what you think of this little piggy. And remember, never stop creating. Bye.